record. Hey guys, good morning or good afternoon, whatever it may be for you guys. I hope you're going well. Welcome to our fourth and final mini lesson. Today we're going to be looking at free verse poetry and energy. It's continuing on from last week when we were looking at the importance of perspective and the idea that poetry is a way of sharing experiences and cultures with other people. So it ties together ideas of recount from our first lesson, poetry from all throughout, and perspective from last week. I like these two quotes from a movie which I love called Dead Poet Society, so just thought I'd throw them in because it's talking about how we must constantly look at things in a different way. And so for those who haven't seen it, the teacher says that at the start of the movie, and then at the end of the movie, the students all stand on their desk as kind of a salute or a thank you to their teacher to show that he's changed their perspective. I'd just like you to keep that in mind while we're working on our poems. Okay, so for our online lesson today, you'll need an exercise book or piece of paper and a writing implement, so a pencil or pen, or a Word document open for note-taking. So firstly, how are you guys going? I know it's been a bit of a crazy week, so I hope you're all looking after yourself and doing things that make you happy, that fill your tank. So this could be hobbies like indoor exercise, dancing, maybe making a TikTok video, singing,
yes,
playing video games or reading. But yeah, we also need to make sure that we're looking after each other during this time. So checking up, giving each other a call or a text, and just being a support. Also looking after ourselves physically by, eating well, sleeping enough, and asking for support when we need it, because we all need it at some point. So I'm probably not the only one looking forward to holidays that are coming up soon. So I just wanted to ask, what do you guys celebrate and what do you do to celebrate? So a lot of us might celebrate birthdays by having dinner out or having parties or maybe going away for the weekend, or perhaps it's cultural events. So like Christmas, Easter, you might go to church, you might have large gatherings, maybe not in COVID times, but you might have family and friends.
Everybody is excited about Christmas now.
Yes, very true. And you might have a meal with them or something like that. Or maybe you just go out for dinner with a few friends to celebrate an achievement like getting good grades. Either way, they're all pretty exciting times. And today we're going to be writing poems about them. So for the moment, we're just going to do some brainstorming. I want you guys to start brainstorming and jotting down ideas on your piece of paper or your Word document about and describe that event or that experience to those people around you. So you can just write for a few minutes. I want you to split your page into 6 parts. So you could do this by folding your page into 3 and then folding that in half. Gives you 6 equal parts, or just on a Word document, pressing enter a few times. And then you can assign a particular sense to each one. So then you'll have a little description about what you see at a particular event or experience, what you can smell, what you can feel or touch, what you can taste, and what you can hear. So I'll give you a few moments to do that. Just make sure you have one little description, whether it's a few words or a sentence, about each sense. Going well, guys. So mine, I've done about Christmas. I've specifically done it about Christmas lunch with my family. So you can see that I've got the sight and the smell and the touch, which is the hugs, and the taste and the sound. Yeah. Feel free to share it with your desk mate next to you. And just feel free to add in 1 or 2, write them down while you're discussing. Good job. So that little activity that we just did was in preparation for your assessment, for your summative assessment. What you guys will need to do for that is to write your own free verse poem. So it can be 100 to 150 words in length. And I'd like it to contain at least one detail regarding each of the boxes, regarding each of your senses, which should be all right because you guys have already got at least one in each box. I also want you guys to try and use 5 to 7 descriptive words, adjectives, which were used in the Cinquain poems that we wrote a few weeks ago, if you remember that. And then 4 other techniques, which we talked about earlier in the year. So this is things like rhyme, like time, lime, and yeah, alliteration, which is where 2 words in a row start with the same letter. So like if you were writing about a child's party, you could put big bright balloons because that's got the 3 B's in a row. Yeah, stuff like that. I'll also hand out or put on the course homepage a sheet with explanations of each of the techniques if you're not quite too sure about them. This is a little example I made of a poem. So this is my poem about Christmas. And you can see that I've highlighted each of the techniques I've used. So I have bright and light, which is a rhyme. And then I've got another technique called consonants. And this is the repetition of the sound, whether it's a C or an S, because I have gifts, excitement, the smell of the roast turkey, in anticipation for those, sound, voices. You can hear how it kind of repeats itself, and it gives the poem a soft flowing feel, which feeds into the idea of tone that we discussed when we were writing our cinquains, in that it gives it a very calm and happy sort of sound to it. I've also used techniques of a shorter sentence here in the first sentence compared with longer sentences as the poem goes on. I've got an adjective here in green, which is tender. There's quite a few other adjectives if you want to try to find them. And then another one I have is contrast, comparing the cool indoor air with the sweltering heat, because it's putting 2 very different things side by side. So yeah, I encourage you guys to have a play around, just have fun with it, enjoy being caught up in the moment, I guess, when you're remembering the events you're writing about. Hope you have lots of fun with that, and don't forget to refer to the assessment sheet while you're writing it so that you can make sure you have all the specifications, and also the marking rubric, because this tells you what you'll get grades for when I mark it for you. So all the best. Thank you for listening to my segment. And now we're going to hand over to Monica. See you guys. Have a good night.